Is it ever truly polite to skip please when you're ordering food in English? Hmm. We're about to dive deep into that, and you may actually be surprised by what we uncover. Welcome to Daily English Practice, Listen and Speak. Today we're taking a deep dive into the surprisingly nuanced world of ordering food in English. It's something we all do, right? A universal experience, but the language around it can be unexpectedly tricky. You've sent us some really fantastic sources covering everything from the rapid-fire lingo of fast food joints to the subtle art of navigating a fancy sit-down restaurant, and even the specific vocabulary for coffee shops and room service. So our mission today is basically to arm you with the essential phrases and, maybe more importantly, the confidence to order food like a native speaker, no matter what dining situation you find yourself in.
It's true. The scope is much broader than most people probably imagine. Ordering food isn't just pointing or saying, I want that one. It's a whole series of interactions, really, from making reservations, clearly communicating dietary needs, even gracefully handling those moments when maybe a dish isn't quite what you expected. And thinking about that range, one thing kind of jumps out immediately. What's the biggest underlying difference between ordering in, say, a super fast environment versus a more traditional, relaxed restaurant?
Oh, that's a great question. And it really gets to the heart of why we need different ways of speaking, doesn't it? Our sources highlight these really distinct approaches for fast food, sit-down places, coffee shops, and yeah, even that specific thing of room service. What's fascinating is how the whole context, the situation, completely reshapes the language we reach for.
Absolutely. The core principle, I think, is efficiency versus the overall experience. Fast food ordering is just designed meticulously, really, for speed. That leads to very direct, almost transactional language. You get in, say what you need, get out. Simple.
Quick and easy.
Right. Whereas traditional restaurants, they're built around a more extended interaction, from booking the table to the service throughout the meal. So the language naturally becomes a bit more elaborate, maybe more polite to match that longer engagement.
Okay, so let's kick off with the quickest scenario then. Fast food. Our sources really emphasize how these fast food chains, or sometimes just joints, they're all about speed, and that filters right down into how we order. You'll hear common kind of no-nonsense starters like, I'd like the food, or I'll take the, but maybe just, do you have any? They're straightforward, designed to get you fed fast.
Precisely. And after your first bit, the server often has a few very predictable follow-up questions, just to finalize things quickly. Think like, would you like any sauces with that? Small, medium, or large? Or that classic one, is that for here or to go? The directness isn't rude here. It's kind of like an unspoken agreement that everyone values speed.
Right, it's expected. And just to make sure we're clear on those last two, takeout or to go means you're grabbing your food and leaving, not eating there. The opposite, eat in or for here, means you plan to stay and eat at the restaurant.
And then there's the drive-through, sometimes spelled drive-through. That's really the ultimate in fast food efficiency, isn't it? Ordering and paying, all without leaving your car. A North American thing originally, but it's everywhere now.
Definitely. Now, when you're looking at the menu, often it's up on a big board. You'll frequently spot combo options. These are basically prepackaged meals, usually a main thing, a side, and a drink. And they're often a bit cheaper than ordering separately. You might even order them by number, like, I'll have a number 5, please.
Oh, and our sources also mention a growing trend. Nutrition information, listing the sugar, fat, calories. Yeah, transparency. So you can make informed choices even when you're grabbing something quick. Okay, let's dive into some specific words you might hear. Beyond the standard bun for burgers, you get sub for those long sandwiches, short for submarine because of the shape. But be aware, these can have regional names like wedge or hoagie or hero in different parts of the U.S. Kind of confusing sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And for bread, that crucial difference. North American biscuits, those soft, savory, almost like a scone, but not sweet.
Right, you have them with gravy sometimes.
Exactly. Whereas UK biscuits are hard and sweet, what Americans call a cookie. Very different things.
That's a mix-up you definitely want to avoid. And speaking of drinks, besides the general beverage or soft drink, you might hear fountain drink.
Yeah.
That's where you fill your own cup from the machine, right?
Uh-huh. Then there's the slushy crust ice, sweet flavoring, or a smoothie, often blended with ice, milk, or fruit, and coffee.
Oh boy, coffee has its own huge vocabulary. Latte, mocha, frappuccino.
You need to be pretty specific when ordering coffee.
It's a whole language in itself.
It really is. For sides, often just called sides, you've got French fries, which are chips in the UK, remember?
And American chips are UK crisps. Always gets me.
Me too. Other common ones are hash browns, fried potatoes, sometimes with onion or crispy onion rings.
Mm.
Meat-wise, burger usually means beef, but could be turkey or chicken. Then you have chicken nuggets, sausage, hot dogs, often with relish, that sweet or savory pickled veggie stuff.
Don't forget bacon.
Oh, definitely bacon, and sometimes fancy beef like Angus beef.
It's interesting how fast food itself became such a thing. Started in the U.S., mid-1900s, places like White Castle. The big idea was showing people that eating out could actually be good, not just something you did at home.
And that leads to that interesting language point. Brand names becoming almost generic terms, like Happy Meal instead of just Kids Meal.
Or McChicken. You instantly know where that's from.
Exactly. But so the question is, how do you figure out these unique brand terms when you're traveling? Often it's about recognizing patterns, like Miku maybe, or just looking closely at that specific restaurant's menu. They usually have their own consistent style.
Okay, let's shift gears now.
Yeah.
Completely different vibe. Sit-down restaurants. These require a bit more, let's say, finesse. The whole process often starts before you even walk in the door with making a reservation.
Right.
You typically say something like, I'd like to make a reservation, and then be ready to give details, number of people, the time you want, your name, probably a phone number.
Uh-huh.
And if you have any special requests like, could we get a table by the window or maybe somewhere quiet, now's the time to ask.
Good point. Then once you're seated, if you need the waiter, the best way is usually a simple, clear, excuse me. No need to wave frantically or shout.
Definitely not. And if you're looking at that menu and just can't decide, happens to me all the time.
Oh, me too.
If the waiter asks, are you ready to order? You can just say, not yet. We need another minute. Or maybe, could we have another minute, please?
Yeah.
Just a little heads up, though. In a really busy place, a minute might mean 5 or even 10 minutes.
Yeah. Restaurant time is different. So when you are ready, standard phrases are pretty straightforward but polite. I'd like the spaghetti and some tea, maybe. Or I'll have a sandwich and a soft drink. Simple. And, if you're really stuck, pointing at the menu item is perfectly fine, too.
Totally acceptable. And if you need something extra, like another fork, or maybe you're wondering if they have something not listed, you can ask, could you bring another fork, please? Or, hey, excuse me, do you happen to have orange juice?
Oh.
Keep clear and polite.
Now, unfortunately, things don't always go perfectly smooth. What if they bring the wrong dish? You can politely say, oh, I'm afraid this isn't quite what I ordered. I actually ordered and then say what you wanted.
Right. Just clarify calmly.
Exactly. And for issues with the food itself, maybe it's cold or too salty or just tastes off, you could say, excuse me, this food's a bit cold, or I'm sorry, but this is really salty, or maybe this doesn't taste quite right.
And if things are taking a really long time?
And this phrase is like, excuse me, we've been waiting quite a while for our food, or simply asking, is our meal on its way, are perfectly reasonable.
Okay, now for a place that kind of sits between fast food and formal dining. Coffee shops. They have their own unique vibe and etiquette. It often feels more informal, but there is still little nuances, right?
Definitely.
Like the greeting. A server might say, hello, what can I get for you? Or even just a casual, hi, are you okay? Which weirdly often just means, are you ready to order?
Yeah, that "are you okay" throws people sometimes, but it's super common, especially in the UK. It's just an invitation to order. And when you do order, could I get is maybe technically a tiny bit more formal, but honestly, can I get is perfectly fine and probably more common in that fast-paced coffee shop setting. Don't sweat it too much.
Good to know. And there's that subtle difference when asking about what they have. If you're asking if they make or serve something, like a special milk, you might say, do you do oat milk? But if it's something they just stock, like a tea bag or syrup, you'd more likely ask, do you have green tea? It's a small thing, but kind of useful.
Yeah, that's a neat distinction. You might also need to clarify things like, how large is the large one? If the cup sizes aren't obvious. And, sometimes if your order is really specific or complicated, it can be nice to say something like, okay, this is a bit of a weird order, but it just acknowledges it's not standard.
Softens it a bit. Then when they're confirming or giving you your stuff, you might hear, perfect, thank you, or anything else. And when they hand it over, often it's, there you go, or there we go. And they'll probably ask for here or takeaway, or for pastries maybe, as it is, or warmed up.
Right. And paying, you'll hear the total, often with that little word then tacked on, like, okay, that's £8.20 then, please. Very natural sounding.
Why is the then there?
Yeah.
Just habit.
Just habit, really. Conversational tick. And always be ready to ask, do we take cash? Or can I pay by card? So many places are card only these days.
True. And if you didn't hear,
Just a simple sorry, could you repeat that?
perfectly fine. Okay, let's switch focus to something really crucial for a lot of listeners. Handling dietary needs. Getting this right is so important.
Absolutely critical. For allergies, you need to be direct, really clear. I'm allergic to peanuts, or I have a severe shellfish allergy. No room for ambiguity there.
Definitely not.
Hmm.
And for specific diets, you might need to say, I'm on a diet, or clarify, I'm a vegetarian, or I don't eat meat. Or you might ask about options. Do you have gluten-free options? Is this vegan? Is this halal? Is this kosher? Oh, and our sources mentioned that little cow symbol on some menus indicating dairy. That's pretty handy.
Yeah, visual cues are great, but even so, it's always smart to double check, especially with allergies or strict dietary needs. Politely asking, could you just double check this is definitely gluten-free, or just confirming there's no meat at all in this dish, right? Is totally appropriate and shows you're being careful.
And knowing how to ask for things without certain ingredients is useful too. Like, can I get the salad but without bacon, please?
Exactly. Okay, moving towards the end of the meal, paying the bill, the grand finale.
How do you ask for it?
The standards are simple. Check, please. Or maybe slightly more formal, may I have the bill, please? Both work perfectly.
And once it arrives, payment methods. We touched on this, but asking, can I pay by card? Or do you take credit cards? Is essential.
Yep. And then there's the tip or gratuity. Good idea to ask, is service included? Or sometimes,
Right.
what is the standard gratuity? As one source mentioned for room service, sometimes it's automatically added, like maybe 18%. So it's good to know.
Right. And if you're with friends,
You have options. You could treat your friends, meaning you pay for everyone. Generous.
very generous.
Or, more commonly perhaps, you can ask to split the bill, meaning everyone pays for their own share.
Okay, one last specific scenario. Room service. Our sources had that really helpful dialogue with Mr. Kim and Maria.
Yeah, that was a good example. It usually starts with checking if it's even available. Mr. Kim asked, is room service still available? And Maria confirmed the hours, like, yes, until 11 p.m., for instance.
Then to actually order, it's pretty direct. I would like to place an order.
And the great thing about room service, as Maria pointed out, is the flexibility. Even late at night, you might be able to order breakfast food or lunch or dinner as long as it's within their operating hours.
So you could piece together quite a meal. That example order was pretty comprehensive. I'd like to order a small salad, a turkey club, a side order of potato chips, and a glass of orange juice. Oh, and a piece of chocolate cake, please.
Sounds good. And after you order, they'll confirm the total cost. They shouldn't mention any delivery fees, and that gratuity, again, it might be automatic, like 18%, and unless you plan to tip the delivery person separately in cash.
Important detail.
Very. They'll also confirm your room number, obviously, and give you an estimated delivery time. It should be up in about 30 minutes or so, something like that.
And ending the call, Mr. Kim's thanks, I'm sure it'll be tasty, was a nice, simple closing.
Yeah, friendly and polite. And the staff response, I hope you'll enjoy the meal. Thank you for calling the room service extension, is typical, professional, and courteous.
Okay, so pulling all of this together,
Yeah.
what does it really boil down to in terms of being polite when ordering? Our sources, especially that Reddit chat, highlighted something really interesting about please and thank you. It's not quite as simple as maybe we were taught.
Right. While using please is always a good idea, it's never wrong, especially if you're making a special request like, can I get the sweet potato fries instead of the regular fries, please? The thank you often carries more weight, particularly in American English, it seems. Some people might barely notice if you skip please in a quick transaction, but forgetting to say thank you when you get your food or pay, that definitely registers as impolite. It's about acknowledging the service provided.
That's fascinating. So polite phrasing options would be things like, may I get a croissant, please? Or maybe, I would like to have a croissant, please.
Exactly. And you mentioned may. Yeah, may I have. Can sound a bit formal, maybe even a little posh in some UK settings, but it's perfectly polite. Though, honestly, could I please get the X is probably peak politeness across the board. Can't go wrong with that.
But it's not just the words, is it?
Oh, absolutely not. Critically, your tone of voice plays a huge role. You want to sound like you're making a request, not barking an order. That subtle difference in how you say it often matters more than the precise words you choose.
Makes sense. And always remember that thank you. When you receive your order, a simple thanks or a thank you very much. And in the whole interaction with a have a nice day or have a good rest of your day is a lovely touch.
It is. And responding, and you, or you too, it just keeps things pleasant. And one final, really crucial reminder from the sources. Avoid phrases like, I want, or give me. They just come across as demanding and impolite in almost any service situation. Stick to, I would like, or I'll have, and always try to pop a please in there. It's about respect.
Definitely. Wow, we've really unpacked a lot there, haven't we? From the super casual drive-through to the more formal room service call. The main goal really isn't just successfully getting food, but feeling comfortable and enjoying the interaction itself.
Absolutely. And if you think bigger picture, mastering these seemingly small interactions like ordering food, it does so much more than just get you a meal. It builds real confidence, it helps with cultural understanding, and it just makes you feel more at home, more connected when you're in an English-speaking place.
So true. Remember, after all this, you are now completely ready to order food in English like an expert.
Which actually makes me wonder, beyond ordering food, what other everyday situations these routine interactions could be totally transformed just by mastering a few key phrases?
Yeah.
How could we make more of those daily communications feel less like just a transaction and more like a real human connection?
That's a great question to ponder. Food for thought. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. Until next time, keep listening, keep speaking, and definitely enjoy your next meal out.